Welcome back, YouTube. Renee's making soap today, and so we're going to show the process of how the soap is made. This is what she does once a year, and anyway, this is the soap recipe that she goes by, and I'm going to let her explain what she's done so far, because I don't have any idea. But anyway.
Okay, what we have here is a lye and water, distilled water, and we have 20 ounces of that. You have to put gloves on, you have to have your glasses on, you have to be very, very careful because this will take your finger off and burn you terribly. So I'm very, very cautious when I do this. I use a ball glass jar, wooden utensils for stirring, and at this time this is sitting heating. It's probably about 250, 300 degrees. It's cooled off a little. We wait until it hits 150 degrees. I measure it with the candy thermometer back there, and when it hits about 150 degrees, then we will pour the lard into it, tallow, lard, whichever you want to call it.
Yeah, and we'll get that.
That's over here. And that's melting in the oven, and it's going to come.
How much is in there?
This is, I have the ingredients on that first page, so.
Okay, we'll put the ingredients. I'll take a picture of the ingredients. Okay. So that's tallow, lard.
Okay. And then the two come together to about 120 to 150 degrees. We mix them together, and that's going to cause a process called saponification. And then we're going to have to stir. Sometimes it could be for an hour, sometimes for an hour and a half. But that's the process right now, and then we'll come to the next one when it's time.
And all this goes in?
Yeah, those are the essential oils that we will add last.
These are essential oils. They make it smell real good.
Okay, I use a trivet underneath it so that doesn't slide, because once again we're working with real caustic stuff here. You don't have to use plastic gloves, but I do. It's just an extra level of protection, at least for the pouring. Okay, now this is very, very, this part right here is very important. You just slowly pour it in here and start stirring. The tallow or lard reached 150 degrees. The lye cooled down to 150 degrees.
And the lye is what you're pouring now.
Right. And now this is going to have to be stirred for, it depends. Sometimes it could be an hour. Sometimes it can be an hour and a half. I have stirred as long as 2 hours. So
2 hours of stirring, y'all.
Yep. Okay, and that is this process right here. Now I'm gonna let it sit for a second. We're going to put this, get rid of this lye glass here. Be very careful with that. While I'm stirring this, I'll be sitting. I usually get something to read or whatever, and it's a continuous stir until probably, you can take little mini breaks, but no longer than just a minute or two if you got to get up and do something. I have a box lined with plastic over here. Once this reaches its tracing stage, which I'll talk about in the next little clip, once it reaches this tracing stage, we're going to put our oils in. I'll call out which ones I'm putting in, and then we'll be pouring it in that box. But right now, it's just stirring. I'll tell you a few things about the soap making process while I'm stirring. My hand's on the bottom of this stainless steel bowl right now, and that's the only, you should only use stainless steel. There are a lot of different people that say you can use glassware, or but the temperature, the heat that this gets to, I found it to be safest to use stainless steel. And my hand right here is on the bottom of it right now. This is how I gauge when it's starting to cool down. It is very hot. I can only put my hand on the bottom of this for like 3 seconds. By the time it starts tracing, I'll be able to keep it on there for a good 10 seconds. So that's kind of like my guide. Some people like to say, you know, it's an hour and then start adding stuff, but you have to have a trace. And what a trace is when you see that I'm going back and forth in this and it just looks like warm melted honey. As it starts tracing, it's going to get thick, and when it gets thick, when I pull this spoon up, it's going to leave little places that you can see, little trails in the what becomes soap. Right now the lye is just working with these oils. So that's where we are. Okay, the first one I have is I'm using a hemp oil, and this is a natural hemp full spectrum, and this gives it a little bit of the healing properties. I put 20 drops, and that will give it some of the healing quality, healing spectrum to the. Now I stir that up, and then one of my favorites is clary sage. This is going to be an earthy kind of smelling soap here. Now I'm going to put 20 drops of this. Okay. Alright, and then what we have is the Lang Lang. This goes really well with the next ingredient. I put frankincense in it. And so this one has a little shaker thing, so I have to shake it in. That's probably okay. I put a quarter of the bottle. I'm gonna go a little further on that. Okay. And now lastly, stir that just a little. Oh, it smells good. It actually starts smelling better as it starts curing after we pour it. So this one is frankincense. And I'm going to put about 15 drops in this. Okay, and that should do it for the oils. And now we're just going to stir this up just for a minute. Let it all kind of get together. And it's going to be ready to pour. Oh, that smells good. Okay. Okay, and then in one kind of fell swoop here, we get all of our soap added on. After I get the majority of it out, then I just run across it one time with a spatula, and that should take care of it. This stuff is still caustic, so you still don't want to splash it or get any on you. It takes weeks for this to, the acidity of it to calm down. Okay, and there it is. Now this is going to go, I'm putting a towel over it, and I'm going to sit it in my office in a cool spot, just a regular spot, for it to cool, and it's going to sit for 24 hours. And after 24 hours, we're going to take it out and cut it. Okay, what we have here is, we're following up from yesterday. It's been 24 hours. So the soap is cured. We're fixing to take it out and cut the bars, and then we're going to place them on. I take an old oven rack and place it on that and put a little space between each one, and then it's going to cure on that for 4 to 6 weeks. You can tell when it's about ready. It's going to get all ashy, but right now what we're going to do is cut it. So first thing we got to do is take it out, loosen it a little. Cut it off. Sometimes it's a little difficult, but you just gotta get it loose. There we go. Okay, so we pull that out, place it on the table, pull it apart. It's still gonna have some lye eking out of it, so you don't really want to handle it a whole lot. You want to make the bars big enough. I usually do it in rows of 3 and 2. It doesn't make a whole, lot of soap, but when you shave it down, you're going to lose some of your soap, so you don't want to cut it too small. So what I'm going to do is cut it in 3, about right here. You don't have to be perfect. Okay. There we go. It looks like I might get a 4 out of it. If it cracks a little, it's okay. You're going to be shaving it. Anyway. And there's a little thing, once this cures, we'll show it all to you then. But there's a little thing with these little pieces. They're gonna be left after we do this as well. And that makes a very good cleaning product. Okay.
This is what it looks like after it's finished. And I don't know anything about the process. Renee knows all about the process. But all I know is this is the only kind of soap I like to use. Smells good. Leathers up good.
Floats.
It floats. It's a good soap. So yeah. Now that's going to be all on this process.